Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and you didn't just see me just go live just a second ago and press the button that didn't work. Nice. Yeah, usually what happens, you get the intro and then you get the transition. Streamlabs just decided to go, no, change scenes. So I'm sat there like, oh, hi. Fuck. So yeah, anyway, this won't be on the YouTube video. So if you missed it on YouTube, then this is what you miss out by not joining us live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. But you do, you get to see the rest of it. So you're still good. You're still good. Anyway, welcome in. Welcome in. If you are live, it's good to see you on this Monday morning. I would say this bright and sprightly Monday morning, seeing as it's like the first Monday of spring, but my blinds are closed and I can't see how bright and sprightly it is. Is it bright and sprightly? Is it great? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what it's like near you. Please feel free. Anyway, first things first. How is the audio? Does it sound okay? How is the audio? It does sound okay. Nice. Coolan! Good morning, dude. Welcome in. Dropping one of our exclusive subscriber emotes. A number of emotes that are exclusive to subscribers of this channel only on Twitch. And that one actually has an audio cue. If you press it, it makes a noise which sounds a little bit like this.
Hello.
Hey!
You waited to see which one I was doing then, didn't you?
Yeah,
you all on strings.
I was like, is he going to go, hello? Where are we going? Where are we going? Good morning, Hammer. How's things, dude? Welcome in.
Too obvious, Graham.
We had that last week. You know, it's not just a one-trick pony. Keep you on the edge of your seat. That's what it's about. But anyway, welcome in. Start of a new week. We have a bunch of stories for you, including one that relates to a PS5 disaster. Question mark, exclamation mark. Yeah, we will give you all the details. You've probably seen what it is if you follow us on social media because we tweet it out and post it out on Insta before we go live. But we'll come back to that in a second because this is The Scoop. My name is Graham. This is Bibby, and we are Ice Cream Uploads, which is why this is The Scoop. Ice Cream Scoop, you get it? Anyway, this is the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And we are here to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best, the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. So if you were live with us right here, right now on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. smack bang, right on the money-ish.
Massive-ish.
It's 10:46-ish. So 10 a.m.-ish. Anyway, we do go live at twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday around 10 a.m. So please feel free to join us live. And if you're doing that with us right now, please feel free to get involved in the chat with those thoughts and impressions I mentioned a second ago. And it's important that you do that because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a video for YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, on Google Play, all of the places where people can watch in and listen in on demand, pause, fast forward, rewind, do all of that stuff. If you're on YouTube, hit like as well. You can fill your boots. But one thing they can't do is get involved with us live in the chat. So it's your job, if you are here on Twitch, to do that on behalf of everyone else. Nice. A couple of things before we jump in. First of all, exclamation mark, insert coin. Myself and Bibby streamed on official insert coin last week, and we finished A Way Out, which is an exceptional game. Feel free to check it out. You can watch the video on demand on official insert coin's channel. Just look at their past broadcasts. It'll stay on there for some time. As well as that exclamation mark loot drop. If you're a subscriber on our channel, we are getting closer to our next giveaway. So we are giving away a copy of Valheim, which over the weekend, I believe I saw another article about it absolutely smashing even more records. So if you want to play a game that is breaking all records, maybe you want to stream it, maybe you just want to play it for yourself, then we will be giving a copy of Valheim away to one person on the first Monday of the next month. That's what the loot drop is. We give something back every month to one subscriber. So this month will be a copy of Valheim. If you don't want to play Valheim or you don't have a PC, we will swap that for something else. That's perfectly fine. But Valheim is what we're leading with. Nice. Okay, all that's out of the way. Good weekend, babe.
Yeah, I didn't really do much. Yeah, I didn't really play much. I genuinely trying to think of actually what I did this weekend. I fixed my gate. That's it. That's as good as it got this weekend. There's still not that much to do. We're getting our deck input in this weekend, and then I have one more. This weekend is the last weekend that I have nothing to do because, Graham, as of next Monday, funnily enough, when I have that week off, the golf course is open back again. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Graham?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Anyway, I did take Kirk McKean's, obviously, right at the gamer. Opinions on board, and I downloaded Prey. and vigorously shat myself for 2 hours as I went through the first part of the game.
Oh, I was going to say,
My
and
God.
then did you play Prey afterwards? Oh, yeah, you're fine. You get.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I don't know if anyone's ever played Fear. I got massive Fear vibes from it. Obviously, it being in first person, and these stupid little mimic bastards that you don't know whether or not they're going to be like a bin or a chair
Is
or a
that their
telephone. So you
actual
are
official name of them in the game? By the
the
way,
mimic bastards.
Stupid little mimic bastards.
Yes, well, they are called mimics, but they're just like I don't want to go near anything because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to turn, if it's actually a chair or it's this little gooey black spider-looking thing. Anything that remotely looks like a spider is obviously going to set me off. Like I can't stand them. They petrify me. So I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. So I'll just be like rummaging through a bin of some sort to try and get some ammo or whatever it is. And then the next minute the bin's just going to explode and it's going to be like one of these mimic things that are jumping at me. It's honestly terrifying. I'm glad that I've started to play it because it is so far, as I said, only 2 hours in. It's a brilliant game. But yeah, I wish someone could have given me an heads up because I probably wouldn't have started it if that was the case.
Asim agrees, says praise so good. You know, I didn't even realize that. Good morning, Mr. T, by the way. I didn't even realize that Kirk McKean. Maybe I did know this information actually, that he'd gone to the game. Maybe we had that conversation when we first
that's why I started reporting on the Gamer.
Yeah, I think that I seem to remember that now. I've just said that, but yeah, in my head I was just about to say I don't remember Kirk McKean being at the Gamer, but maybe I did, but I'd forgotten it. I just shelved it away in some portion of the back of my brain, but kind of loosely recalled it. Anyway, good morning to Mr. Garlic Clark. He says morning. I'll read, Pet. Also to Mr. Pez Story Mode himself. John is in the chat. He says good morning. I'll read. Bibby is off again.
Yes.
Well, when are you off again? What?
As well, I'm off next week.
I completely forgot that. Saying that said, I'm off the week after. So there you go. It's tag teams back once again. Tag team back again. So yeah, baby off next week. Me off week after. Job's good. Yeah, but so if anyone does want a guest spot, we might as well get the casting call out early. Obviously, we did have a week without Bibby recently, and I know we all enjoyed ourselves more than we should have done, but we have to pretend like he was missed. So he's going away next week. Would anyone like to try and fill the Bibby-shaped hole in the scoop that we have left there? Would anyone want to jump in as a guest? That's a bit easy, Tiger. We're not talking about. I get you now. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, if anyone would like to jump on as a guest host, please feel free to let us know. Either drop me a DM, drop Ice Cream Uploads a message on Twitter, or get involved in the Discord. We do have a scoop section. Feel free to raise your hand in there if you do want to be involved. Shout out to Enix, who got involved previously, as well as Chappers and Mr. Dan Long from Insert Coin fame, all jumped in Bibby's last week off. So if anyone else does want to jump in as a guest host, please feel free. Would like to see some new faces in here. Hashtag free Garlic Clark. Get Gary on. Gary was going to come on last time, but he DM'd me saying Bibby's been on, so fuck that shit was his actual phrase that he used. So
big footsteps to follow, and I understand, mate. I understand.
So yeah, that's kind of what happened. So yeah, and although we did, Gary not being able to do it last time did mean that we did get Dan Long. So good substitutes, nice. But Mr. Clark, if you
hope for the same again,
Mr. Clark, if you don't want to, if you do want to jump on, feel free to let me know. We can hook that out. Hook that up, sort that out. Yeah, nice. Both of those in one. Nice. But yes, if you're in the chat, please feel free to let us know that you are here. We're going to jump into the news now, though. I'd tell you what games I played over the weekend, but I didn't really play any games. It was a quiet game weekend for me. I played a little bit of PUBG at the end of yesterday because it was like 9:30. And I was like, I want to jump back into Spider-Man and play Spider-Man, particularly because I finished my PUBG season pass. So I've not really been playing PUBG these last couple of weeks because there's no new content. I've kind of exhausted all of the stuff in there. The game is taking forever to find solo matches, so I've just thought I'll give it a bit of space because it's just going to trigger me. So I played a little bit of it last night. What I did do, though, instead was watch Last Chance U, the basketball series on Netflix. Actually, let me rephrase how I was going to say this. I was going to say, if anyone feels they've been put out by the pandemic, then watch Last Chance U. But I'm going to track that back, because some people have been put out by the pandemic in the worst possible way, because a lot of people have lost their lives because of it. So that will have some massive implications. But if the pandemic is just a bit of a nuisance to a lot of people, and you feel it's put you out in that sort of sense, the Last Chance U kind of shows you the impact that can have. Definitely worth the watch, though. Go watch the whole thing. It's an exceptional series. If you haven't watched the Last Chance U American football series, there's like 5 of them. That's good watch too, but the basketball one is probably better, I think. But yeah, go do that. Go do that. That's what I did. But speaking about disasters, we'll put COVID aside. That's enough disaster for anyone for a lifetime, and we get that every day. Let's talk about a different disaster. And this one is a console-related one, as Chris Scullion at VGC says, PS5's handling of cross-gen saves criticised following ridiculous Avengers transfer process. Players need to have the PS4 version installed and manually migrate their save over. So PS5's handling of cross-gen games is again receiving criticism this week, after Marvel's Avengers players realised they would need to manually transfer their saves to the new next-gen version of the game. The game's official Twitter account posted a thread this week explaining the steps needed, the steps players need to follow if they want to continue their progress on the PlayStation 5 edition. Players need to have the PS4 version installed on their console with the latest update applied. They will then see a save migration tab on the main menu. This allows players to upload their game save to the game's server, which they will be prompted to download when they next boot up the PS5 version. Those who have uninstalled the PS4 version of Avengers will need to install or download it again, and the game is over 50 gig in size, just to transfer their save file to the PS5 version. The process is similar to other games with PS4 and full PS5 versions, which require players to upload their save data from the PS4 version of the game before continuing on the new console. However, Avengers has still led to criticism by players who feel the process is unnecessarily lengthy, especially compared to setup on Xbox, where smart delivery means that save data automatically transfers between versions, because within Microsoft's ecosystem, smart delivery games are the same game across generations. Forbes journalist Paul Tassi criticised the process further on Twitter, explaining that he couldn't even migrate his save over because of issues with the cloud upload. Tassi has been far from alone in his criticism. Spawn on Me podcast host Khalif Adams posted a screenshot of his download queue with various versions of Avengers queued with the message, "Smart delivery, help!" Quotes, "Thought about jumping back in with the PS5 version, but this is ridiculous," said Twitter user Jay Mendoza. "I did this for the Spider-Man remaster because that was worth it. I don't think Avengers is worth the hassle." We do have an embedded couple of tweets there. I don't think it actually mentions Jason Schreier, so let's see what that one actually is about. The Xbox people need to make their own version of the 2013 "This is how you share your games on PS4" video ASAP. Yikes! That's genius. That's genius. PS5's overall handling of cross-gen releases has received criticism since launch. Outside of its handling of save transfers, initially the platform featured unclear signposting for different game versions, which led to some players inadvertently playing the PS4 versions of next-gen games they own. This was later fixed in late December. Since next-gen consoles launched in November, it's also become clear that developers are seemingly able to add more next-gen features via patch on Xbox, but not on Sony's console. Crystal Dynamics recently confirmed that the game's PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man content has been delayed, which we'll touch on shortly, and might not release in 2021. It hasn't been all bad news, however. Comparisons have found that PS5 versions that the PS5 version loads the game in a fraction of the time the PS4 version takes, reducing loads that take more than a minute down to just a few seconds. So a lot in there, a lot. So the PS5's handling of cross-gen saves has been criticised following what this article calls a ridiculous transfer process. Bib, thoughts?
Yeah. It's just like a massive pain in the ass. I've seen people talking about this all weekend, obviously wanting to get back into it again, but just prolonging them actually picking up the controller and playing this game. It seems odd that you have to have both versions of the game installed to migrate it, and then eventually have to, delete it. Because you may have deleted this. Like I've deleted my version of FIFA 21 because why would I need the PS4 version and PS5 version installed? Like if I had to go back and reinstall FIFA 21 to be able to move my stuff over, that would piss me off no end. So yeah, it seems dumb, very very dumb. This is definitely 1-0 Xbox when it comes to this stuff because they have it so much easier than the PlayStation guys do. I don't understand how they thought that this, I mean, this is available on Xbox, isn't it? This game,
Yeah.
it's just yeah. We talked about the Spider-Man situation and stuff like that. I wonder how easy it is on over there. Did it mention it in this? Because I don't remember hearing it or reading it.
It does mention smart delivery. Basically, it's the same game. The the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X, even though there's a Series X version that has all of the jazz, within Xbox's ecosystem, it sees it as the same game, so you don't need to do any transfer stuff because it just goes, oh, here's your gameplay save in a brand new, spicy, updated version with all the textures and graphics and ray tracing and all the rest.
Unreal. Like having to install the game twice is just a massive pain in the ass, especially if you've got slow download speeds, especially if you've got, having not much space on your hard drive to have to delete something to reinstall the original game to then get it transferred across, then to just delete the original game again and then reinstall the game that you deleted because you needed space. Like it's just Jesus Christ, pain in the ass. It just doesn't make any sense. I thought this would have been so much easier. I thought this generation would definitely make it easy, and it seems to overcomplicate a very simple process.
I mean, this is something that maybe the years and years of different PCs and having different operating systems and changing from operating systems. So from, I'm speaking about Microsoft here. So moving from fucking Windows 95, 98, XP, and all of the rest of the stuff all the way through to where we are now. Microsoft has done a lot more of this sort of content migration, having to think about backwards and forwards compatibility. And I think that kind of shows in the fact that you talk about any console that understands backwards and forwards compatibility. Which one is the best? There is no question. It is Xbox. They have been smashing it through last generation and are continuing to smash it through this generation. PlayStation, not so much. So that extension of backwards and forwards compatibility in terms of forward, what do you even call it? I mean, I suppose it is forward compatibility, but more of a forward continuity. So new content will work on stuff that hasn't even been released yet. That forward compatibility element, Microsoft is smashing that, whereas PlayStation have never really thought about this. PlayStation had issues on the PS3 where it was like, yeah, you can play PS1 and 2 games. Nice. Oh, wait, actually, no, you can't anymore. Will that come back? Just no. So PlayStation kind of was there, but then gave up on that really quickly. And since that initial 60 gigabyte PS3 console disappeared from the market from being sold, PlayStation's always been on the back foot when it's come to any form of backwards compatibility, forwards compatibility. And yeah, I thought maybe that was a PS3 issue. The PS3 is a significant issue. That's why we've seen some games that will come out on the PS3, but not on other formats because of the infrastructure that they had to create for. PS4 fixed a lot of that, and it was praised. I remember Mark Cherney holding a conference speaking openly about how they worked with developers. Not just their own internal developers. How can we get a system that has high benchmarks? How can we get a system that has high benchmarks that developers can actually use? So they've done that. And I thought, okay, well, PS3 is still kind of in there a little bit. Maybe that's hamstrung PS4. PS5, in my mind, was going to be the releasing of the shackles. There is no PS3 considerations. PS5 and PS4 should work together. Just does not. PS5 works on its own as its own standalone item, which is wonderful. But video games are beyond that now. Yes, there was the NES, and yes, there was the SNES, or NES or SNES if you're pronouncing it correctly but wrong. If you, you know that NES games don't work with the SNES. It was a different system, and you just kind of knew that was the cutoff. Bosh. But we're not in that environment anymore. Your Master System games aren't going to work on your Mega Drive. Fine, but your PS4 games should work on your PS5. There's not really any reason for that to not happen now. And it's almost like an ignorant oversight in terms of, yeah, well, we don't care because we're making PS5 and we want you to buy new games for the PS5 and want new experiences for the PS5. And we don't want you to play your PS4 games on your PS5 because it's not for the PS5, it's for the PS4, not the PS5. We understand. Okay, but that's your outlook. And in the real world that you're trying to develop games for, it's possible, and it's been shown to be possible because, I mean, PC have been doing forward compatibility forever. Xbox are now nailing it. PlayStation have
Mhm.
absolutely fumbled the ball. I mean, it's a phrase I've used increasingly over the last few weeks, but if ever there was a ball being fumbled when it came to backwards and forwards compatibility, this is it. This is it. It's so bad. And you can't be angry at Marvel's Avengers as well. I bet Marvel's Avengers, when they tweeted these, how to migrate your save from PS4 to PS5, launched the fully patched PS4 version and stuff like that, I bet they got stick. Whereas you think, it's not their fault. They're not going to come out and go,
Yeah.
it's actually PlayStation's fault, mate. When they've got a PlayStation exclusive bit of content in that game coming eventually, they're not gonna point the finger at PlayStation and go, it's the first party's fault, not ours. So you kind of, sorry, go on.
I don't understand why they're being their own meat shield in that sense. It's not their fault that the PlayStation can't do this for them. Like, PlayStation kind of left them out to, you know, be hung and dry with this, because I can guarantee Xbox wouldn't have done that. Well, they don't have to because they've got smart delivery. But it seems like, yeah, they're using themselves as a meat shield, and that doesn't work. It's unfortunate for them because they have everything ready. They have all their ducks in a line, and then they'll go, right, okay, PlayStation, we're ready to migrate. Yeah, we can't do that. Why? Because X, Y, and Z. All right, so are you going to put a statement out or anything? Are you going to help us out? No.
Yeah, PlayStation are going,
Okay.
there's not that many games that need cross gen progression or cross gen saves, so we'll just and then squash down into their seat and then going, if you want to talk about it, it's on you. It's your game. It's not to do with us. It's literally your system.
We've got the exclusive from you, so you should have to do this all on your own. That feels a bit scummy to me, that, if I'm being honest.
Like, did Marvel's Avengers put out how to migrate your save from Xbox One X to Xbox Series X? Because imagine those tweets side by side. How to migrate your save from Xbox One X to Xbox Series X. Step 1. It's done. Okay. Ta-da!
Yeah. Step 1, load your console up. Step 2, download new update. Step 3, play game.
Do you have a PS4 and a PS5? Well, get yourself a brew. This is going to be a while. Grab yourself a pen and paper. Okay. Do you have a degree in economics? Because if you don't, this is going to be a difficult one. If you do, it's still going to be a difficult one. So yeah. It's not.
They did actually put out a tweet, and it says it's a redefined experience. Upgrade your PS4 and Xbox One versions of Marvel's Play Avengers to next gen at no additional cost. Here's how to migrate your PS4 to PS5 save. No mention at all of how to do it on Xbox.
That's it. There is no need to mention it. Have you got the PS? Have you got the next gen version on Xbox? All right, well, just crack on. You've already got it. It's fine. Just keep going. Have you got the next gen version on the PS5? Okay.
How long have you got?
Wicked Slippers, good morning. New headphones, Graham. No, we've had these quite a while, actually, but I stopped using them because I was using these headset that I would recommend, not just because they are shown down below. Corsair do power ice cream uploads, but these are the Corsair Void RGB headsets, which are... this is the Void RGB wireless headset, which is really good. It's good if you want to get up and move around, and it was quite useful for me because I use a USB mic, but if I wanted to stroll downstairs and make a brew, I could flick the mic down on that headset and keep talking remotely. And if I wanted to go to the next level, I could use something like Epoch Cam from Elgato and take a remote stream while I go downstairs and make a brew. That was lovely and amazing. However, I've kind of dropped one Corsair product in favor of another, so that the Corsair headset has gone because the Wave 3 microphone is in. So I had a USB mic previously, the Blue Yeti, whereas now I have the Wave 3. And Wave 3 uses Wavelink software, and long story short, I've got a digital mixer and it works incredibly well, but I'm using a USB product to use a USB product. USB to USB usually has a little bit of input lag. Input's not the right word, but there's a little bit of lag between it. And I noticed it when I was playing video games like PUBG. There was a minute second between me pulling the trigger and me getting the audio. It didn't go out onto the stream for some reason, but it did delay in my my ears. So yeah, the audio coming to the system is fine, but the audio coming back out into my headset was a little bit delayed. So long story short, I've gone back to my Astros, but plugged them directly into my Wave 3 mic so that it's not using two USBs. Nice. Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, long story short, better mic, good audio coverage, but I needed a plugged-in headset for it, so there you go. Gary says, Xbox, can you press one button? Consumer, yes. Xbox, job done. Gary Clark, PlayStation, have you ever built a Russian rocket? Consumer, nope. PlayStation, well, learn. Exactly. Gary says the PS5 is a mess when it comes to this kind of stuff. Just awful. Asim says, had to do the same with Hitman 3 to get all my save data over from the first two into the game. Pain and a half installing the first two games just to get my saves/progress over. The PlayStation system for stuff like this is terrible. Xbox wins hands down for stuff like this. I completely agree. Mm-hmm. And the longer we get into the generation, the less of a problem this is. And I genuinely believe that PlayStation are just going to kind of ignore it because we're not too far away from it not really being a problem. That whole smart delivery thing, these are the problems that come with it. I mean, we spoke about it probably 6 months ago, saying smart delivery sounds like an exceptional thing. Obviously, we got it announced with CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk, and smart delivery. Buy it on one format, you get the next one for free. Smart delivery, amazing. Woo! PlayStation didn't really have an answer to that. And we said back then that that's not going to be a perennial problem, really. That's going to be a problem that will always be there to affect some people that go back and play games that are a little older as time's passed. But as time goes on, it becomes less and less of an issue. But for now, this is the exact time when it is an issue. You play a game that's available on both platforms, nah, it's an issue. And I think the fact that there are so few games that have come out over the last 12 months, probably because of the pandemic, and so many consoles that aren't available for the next gen, like PS5s, obviously, because of scalpers and all the rest, that cross-gen issues are being elongated and will be elongated probably for an extra year or two on top of where PlayStation initially looked at them. So I assume, this is my assumption, that they've looked at this and gone, okay, well, that's going to be shit, but we can take that on the chin. It'll come and then it'll go and it'll be fine. Whereas it's come and it's here and it's not gone yet, and it's probably not going to go yet for another year or two. In a couple of years, it'll be a thing of the past, but for now, it's an absolute horrendous system. PlayStation's kind of always been like that. This save migration stuff, for anyone that had a PS, I think it was PS4, or was it PS3? I can't remember. I think it was PS4. I played Metal Gear Solid HD Collection on my PS Vita, and I think it was the PS4. It could have been the PS3. Migrating the save off of my PS Vita onto my, what was it? I think it was the PS3. Migrating the save off of my PS Vita onto my PS3, playing through the game on my PS3, saving that down, and then migrating that over to the PS Vita. That was acceptable. It was a pain in the ass, but that was acceptable 2 generations back. The same process still exists 2 generations on, and it shows that Sony just don't take that seriously, because that's not a process, that is a workaround. That's what that is. That's oh shit, we've got a problem, this is how we can fix it for now. That's not the solution, that is a workaround rather than the solution. And we're still there 2 generations later. GG's. Xbox, on the other hand, plug it in, play, jobs are good, and bosh. Okay, I'm going to jump a different story ahead. This was one back, but obviously, as it was mentioned in that anyway, we'll pick this one up now. You did hear me mention it within that article, but Tom Ivan at VGC says, Marvel's Avengers PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man has been delayed, so not only could you have started this game on the PS4, played 1 million hours and take another 1 million hours transferring it from one console to the other, because however many hours you've put into the game, it's not going to be the same amount of hours needed to put it onto the next gen console, because that takes so fucking long. But anyway, the console that has the exclusive content is the one that takes forever, but that content has been delayed as well. So it's another not real great sign for PlayStation. Nice. I mean, no, this isn't on PlayStation, but it just adds to the whole. It's just another bit on the periphery. Anyway, I'll jump in before I continue. Marvel's Avengers PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man has been delayed. Content is being worked on, but might not release in 2021, says developer. So the developer of Marvel's Avengers has confirmed that PlayStation's exclusive Spider-Man content won't release until later this year, which represents a delay from its original scheduling. At the time of its announcement in August 2020, the playable Spider-Man character was due to be added to the Marvel's Avengers roster in early 2021. A delay was always likely after Marvel's Avengers troubled launch resulted in the release of the game's first two new characters being pushed back, along with the launch of PS5 and Xbox Series X and S versions of the title. However, it was only officially confirmed this week when Crystal Dynamics released its Marvel's Avengers 2021 content roadmap, which includes no mention of Spider-Man at all. The content roadmap is arguably headlined by a newly announced Black Panther expansion coming to all players during summer and beyond, and Crystal Dynamics told IGN there's no chance that Spider-Man will arrive before then. Quote, I can tell you that formally, officially, people are working on him right now, studio head Scott Amos told IGN, so it is still on our roadmap for the future. While it's still possible Spider-Man could be added to the game after Black Panther and before the end of 2021, Amos said the content roadmap represents what the studio can commit to delivering in the near term. Quotes, but there are people working on him, and we still fully expect Spider-Man to come to PlayStation, he added. We fully expect? Not that he is. It's just the wording just sounds a bit worrying to me. Anyway, Crystal Dynamics Associate Art Director Jeff Adams gave fans a taste of what to expect from the Spider-Man content in a PlayStation blog announcement post last August. Quote, when Spider-Man comes to our stable of heroes, we'll be marking his debut with an in-game event that will introduce him to the wider world of Marvel's Avengers, he wrote. The event is comprised of a series of unique challenges for the hero to take on, testing his abilities and yielding some exciting results. Unlike the rest of our heroes in Marvel's Avengers, we will offer multiple cosmetic outfits and gameplay experience options, so you can make your vision of the wall crawler a reality. Okay, let's leave that there. Oh, actually, no, let me jump. Actually, the next bit I just half read, and it's red spicy. I don't know if it will be, but I'll keep going. Amos previously raised eyebrows when he was asked how Xbox and PC gamers who want to play as Spider-Man should feel. Quote, I would say that Marvel's Avengers has a lot of heroes, he replied, and with the scope and breadth of this game and this universe, players are going to have their hands full with a lot to play with. Amos added, and for those players who absolutely want to play as Spider-Man, you have the option to do so on PlayStation. Hey! Oh, what a shitty answer. Yeah, you have an option. Go out and buy a different console. Yeah, nice. It's your problem, not ours. Okay, so Marvel's Avengers PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man has been delayed. Boo. I mean, it happens. It happens. Marvel's Avengers was delayed. We are still in a pandemic. It's going to have long-lasting effects. Avengers was delayed. The first bits of DLC were delayed. So it kind of makes sense that the big signpost DLC for PlayStation is also delayed.
Yeah.
But with everything else that's going on, it's not the greatest sounds. Babe, what are your thoughts?
By the time that this actually lands, it's going to be exclusive for like 3 months, if it ever moves over to the Xbox and things like that. It's all well and good saying that, obviously because of the pandemic and stuff like that, you need to be given time and stuff like that. But this would have been what, 14 months. Like we was talking about this before Christmas last year. Yeah, it's very, very odd. It's very odd. I don't understand how it's going to take like another 12 months from Christmas last year to get Spider-Man to the game. Like, surely it can't be that. I don't want to say it can't be that difficult because I'm not a video game developer, and that's a really shitty thing to say. But an extra 12 months to bring a character. Obviously, they will have to bring a quest line in. They will have to redesign all of his attributes and all his skill trees and stuff like that. So I can kind of understand that to a certain degree. An extra 12 months when you've just included other DLC characters in there, that's weird. It's super weird. There must be some licensing issues somewhere. It must be because the new Spider-Man... Is Spider-Man Homecoming coming out this year?
It's another one that has home. It's not... Homecoming was the first one, then it was Far From Home, and this one is like Homeboy or something like that. It's not Homeboy, but it's another one that has home in it. Just read Mr. T's comment. So Asim says, I'm playing the PS5 version now and can see why people that bought day one were crying out for more substantial content. Coming in now, at least I have the main campaign and a couple of additional DLCs. I imagine I'll reach that point soon too, though almost on the campaign. DLCs are probably short, and then it's the grindy content. Yeah, that's what makes me think. If you announce Spider-Man before the game is out, and then you have Hawkeye, and who else? Was there 2 separate Hawkeye DLCs, or was it just the one? I can't remember. And was there some Hulk stuff? I don't remember. I've not played it, so I've not kept an eye on it. I mean, I have played the game early on, but I've not continued to play it, so I've not kept an eye on it. So mentioning Spider-Man before all that, you kind of feel that why is it not in progress? And why are you saying I'm still confident that I expect it to come out? Not, it's definitely coming. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you when, but it's definitely coming. That's kind of the things that I'm expecting. So is there some licensing stuff in there? Are they having conversations around that? I think that's probably less likely. What I feel is probably more likely is the fact that nobody that is interested in this game or has kept half an eye on this game will believe that the content is suitable, is substantial enough. Nobody believes that this game has knocked it out of the park. Everyone says that it needs a bit more. So if Spider-Man is this huge IP that is Sony owned, that they've got this exclusive deal, it's almost, I can imagine there's conversations like when EA fecked up Star Wars and had Disney on the phone going, you sort this shit out or you are getting cut off. I can almost, maybe not to that extent, but I can almost imagine Sony going, you do realise that we have got a lot of flack around Spider-Man. You've got a lot of flack around Spider-Man. And for all of that flack to drop in a game that just has no end game, that has no real substance, that has no real content, that's not good enough. So you need to fix that. So have they put Spider-Man back whilst they try to figure out how they can work that into an environment? How, like, what was it? Was it Anthem next? Do we get Avengers next? Is that a Spider-Man kind of been delayed so they can roll out these extra bits of content in the meantime for everyone, but then fix it for everyone and then drop Spider-Man in there? Hopefully it's that, because if it is that, then that's better for me in terms of, not for Xbox players, because, I mean, there is a solution for Xbox players. Just buy PlayStation. Duh. Nice comments from Mr. Amos at Crystal Dynamics. But it's not great. It's not the worst news in the world. A game has been delayed, or some content has been delayed. Delay it for as long as you need for it to be perfect. Don't release something half-assed. So that's fine. It's just all of the noise that's coming around it. Grind content, below par content, console specific activations that alienate parts of the audience, and then on top of all of that, this horrendous PlayStation crossovers kind of stuff. It's not a lot of that isn't on Crystal Dynamics and Square. It's a lot of it's on PlayStation, but the whole picture just isn't the greatest possible scenario. So Scott Amos adding that final comment at the end just makes it a little bit worse. But yeah. If it doesn't come out in 2021 and it comes out in 2022, if they fix the game, then that's fine. That's fine. Give people something to grind and keep playing for. Then they'll have something to wait for. But if they don't, then okay, well, what's the point? Yeah. Gagad, good morning, gents. You've started early. We, yeah, 10 a.m.-ish.
I suppose we have.
It's a shame. Actually, having played it properly beyond the beta, the game is good. Enemy-wise, it's a bit monotonous, but different Avengers keep you going. It has that Destiny live ops model, though, and that means your post-game content needs to be shit-hot. Sadly, not the case here. And I think that's the thing. Like, it screams to me, I could be wrong, but it screams to me that someone has thought, okay, we've got Iron Man and the Hulk. Captain America's in there as well. Hawkeye. And we're not telling anyone yet, but we've got Black Panther coming too. So we're going to smash it. Content's going to be incredible. Characters aren't content. Characters help deliver content. The narrative is the content. The characters within that are vessels for delivering the narrative. So they've got the vessels, they don't have the narrative, and that's where it needs to be fixed. What is the meaning of that content? Why are you doing it? Just having an Iron Man and going, okay, that's fun, but it doesn't last forever. Once you've done enough, you're like, oh my god, if I hear that repulsor noise, I will be repulsed. Bonsai, good morning, lads. Fred is better than Messi. As long as we're talking about Fred Flintstone, I will take that. If you're talking about Fred, the least Brazilian footballer that's ever been Brazilian in the world ever, no. Good morning, though. Good morning. Let's move ahead. Sticking with PlayStation. Okay, you can't upgrade your gameplay from PS4 to PS5 very easily. You can do it, but it'll take you millions of years doing game updates and installs and downloads and stuff. But at least there will be something else that you can focus on upgrading when it comes to your PS5 this summer. ZUHAAD Ali at The Gamer says PS5 will be ready for internal storage upgrades this summer. You'll finally be able. Yo upgrade. I think that's tough.
Yeah.
You'll finally be able to upgrade your PS. No, okay. You'll finally be able upgrade PS5 internal storage this summer. Zuhad Ali, this is your first time on the scoop. You've not had a good one. You've had a bit of a melee, my friend. You'll finally be able to upgrade your PS5 internal storage this summer. I'm sorry, everyone can do typos. I'm being a dick. I know. The PlayStation 5 might have an upper hand in terms of exclusive titles, but the Xbox Series X has a lot of accessibility features, both in software and hardware. One of those features is the ability to upgrade or expand your internal storage with an external SSD. Sony announced last year that players will not be able to use internal SSD storage upgrades on their PS5 at launch, but it is something they will be adding to the console in future. According to Takashi Mochizuki of Bloomberg, it looks like the PlayStation 5 internal storage upgrade will be consumer ready this summer. That means that players will be able to use M2 SSD storage expansion cards that will fit right inside your PS5 console. These storage upgrades will be introduced with a firmware update on the console. Quote, as previously announced, we are working to enable M2 SSD storage expansion for PS5. The timing has not been announced, and details will be shared later, a spokesperson revealed. The PlayStation 5 has a total of 825 gigs of SSD storage space, from which around 158 gig is reserved for system files and updates. So players are left with a total of 667 gigs of storage. And considering new AAA titles take a minimum of 40 to 50 gig storage per title, and games like Call of Duty Warzone and Destiny 2 are taking more than 100 gig of your space, you would need a storage update sooner rather than later. Speaking of video games titles, Square Enix showcased the first episode of the new Square Enix Presents. Okay, we'll stop there. Nice Square Enix stuff. But this summer, you can finally add M2 SSDs into your PlayStation, increase the size of the internal SSD from the 667 gig that you get to, I don't know, add another 500 gig? We don't know what the size is yet, but good news nonetheless. Babes, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is obviously decent for a lot of people that won't want to use hard drives going to the front. I mean, the hard drives will obviously be a hell of a lot cheaper, but to make it have the fastest possible speeds, then obviously updating this will be better. Did it say how you do it? Because I don't remember, again, reading it, and I don't remember hearing it. Like, are you taking it off? Are you replacing it so you have to re-download all of your games again? Is there a slot inside there for you to be able to put another stick in?
I did watch a video on it at the time of announcement. I think it was the teardown. They showed it within there. And as far as I remember, somebody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Your 500 gig or your 667 gig SSD remains, and then you add an additional one on top of that, like adding a new drive. I believe that's how it works. I could be wrong. Someone feel free to correct me, but I think that's how it works. So it's you essentially plug in a new drive.
Yeah. I mean, the word expansion kind of gives you an idea, shall we say. But again, this is massive for people who obviously have games like Call of Duty that seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, most games are probably over 100 gig now, or will be when the PlayStation 5 starts to release more and more titles. So this, I think, is probably going to become vital if you want more than one or two games installed on your console. I mean, I struggled with my base PS4 since launch day to retirement home. So that was a bit of a pain in the ass because I could have like 3 games installed at any one time. The rate that the games are going to get bigger and bigger, it's going to be a cause for concern. So I'm just interested to see how much that these will be when they come out, because how much was the Xbox one? Was it like 150 quid or something like that for that terabyte card that you put in the back.
Yeah, the Seagate proprietary SSD expansion was around that sort of price. I seem to remember up to 200-ish in that sort of ballpark, or maybe even 250. But I think it was like 250 top end, but generally around 200-ish, 150, 200. Just to confirm,
It's a lot of money.
I've just done a Google search for add an SSD expansion to PS5 and image search that. And the image that I've clicked on, just for clarification, there is the Xbox Seagate 1 terabyte SSD. So that's it plugged into the back of the Xbox. So the Xbox had a proprietary drive, which proprietary means expensive, but also means works out the bag. And Xbox's Velocity architecture, was it Xbox Velocity architecture? I'm pretty sure it was. I could be mixing that up between the two. Anyway, that works so that the 1 terabyte drive plugs in and continues to work with the rest of Xbox's super fast system. So it's not just like a slow drive that gets plugged in via USB port. It plugs directly in. And works at speed. It is expensive, but it works. I think PlayStation's works with the same mindset, although it does look a little bit more ugly. It's basically you pop off a little lid inside the PlayStation. You plug in your M2 stick. Let me click on this one. This might give you a bit more of an idea. So there is the M2 SSD. Just like you would. That looks pretty much exactly the same as my M2 SSD in my PC. Like PCI sort of port, you just kind of pop it in there and jobs are good. And obviously fix it in place with a screw at the other end, and that's it. But that has never been available. The port is in there inside the PlayStation, but even if you stuck a stick in right now, it wouldn't work because it was locked down with firmware. The firmware updates in the summer will allow that to work. I believe that, and once again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they will put a list out, or they will recommend which NVMe SSD M2 sticks will work, because they need to have a minimum write speed to get all the benefits of their fast architecture. So Xbox is proprietary, so it will definitely work. PlayStation isn't proprietary, so it could be cheaper, but might not work depending on the stick that you get. So you need to do your research to make sure it works. But yeah, could be good. Could be good.
I mean, I can imagine the price of this going. Like, if you've got one of these knocking around already, that the price of them may end up going up sooner rather than later, especially when they release which ones are available to be used inside your PlayStation 5. So if you I don't know, are a collector of SSDs for whatever reason, and you have these knocking around, you might be okay. I can imagine the price of these going skyrocketing once you find out that they're going to be compatible with your PlayStation 5.
A collector of SSDs just sat there with a drawer full of all the memories.
Well, we're laughing, but how many? Look at your desk now. How many USB sticks have you got there?
Do you know, actually, on my desk, none.
I've got 4.
I USBs are something that I had in abundance, but things like Dropbox just kind of it killed my need for USBs, to the point where I'm now at the point where USBs are almost like, oh fuck, where did I last leave my USB? I know if I go looking through the house, I can find 6, 7, 8 of them. Some of them 2 gig sticks, some of them like marketing stuff from certain games. And so actually I know where there is one. There is a Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts one down there. There we go. From working with Mr. T himself, a bullet shaped one. I know where that one is. But then beyond that, I have like some 128 gig ones that are password protected and sort of. So I've got a bunch of USB sticks. So yeah, me saying who has a drawer full of SSDs? Probably a few people. You never know. But yeah, so if you are waiting for your PlayStation to be expanded, then you will be able to do that from the summer. The internal storage software upgrades should be coming in the summer, and from that point, you will then be able to use the M2 drive. Who knew that there was an M2 drive in their console? Who didn't? Because I remember watching the teardown video for the Scoop when it came out last August, I think it was. So I remember seeing it in there. I've long since forgotten it, which is why I had to refresh it on Google then. But did you know? Did you know that's how it works? There you go. So you'll just get an M2 stick, pop it in. Jobs are good, and you will obviously, as I mentioned, be worth looking out for the right ones. I mean, we will keep you up to speed when the software stuff does come to the PlayStation, when the system is updated with new firmware to allow you to use the M2 ports. We will probably revisit at that point in time and let you know which sticks are worth getting, which are not. Some will be stupidly expensive, some will be a bit cheaper, some will work super well, some not so much. We will let you know which ones are out there. Sony will no doubt approve that with some publication, so we'll keep you up to date because we're going to go through the same process. We will need to upgrade ours because we only have 667 gigs on our consoles, and that's going to last you like 2 Call of Duties. Fuck that. Fuck that. Anyway, let's move ahead. Gagad says, was that City beating United I saw yesterday? No,
Yes.
it was a City. But no. Anyway, there was no United playing yesterday. Let's move ahead. Nice. Yeah, it wasn't a good day for football, not for United fans anyway. But this is also not a good day, not for Batman fans either. Gotham Knights hit with a year-long delay as new Batman game skips 2021. So it's not just Marvel's web-slinging superhero. DC superheroes are also being hit with delays. Michael Beckwith at Metro Gaming says, with other major 2021 releases already being delayed until 2022, it's no surprise to see the new Batman game, Gotham Knights, follow suit. Warner Brothers has already been forced to delay its upcoming Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy, which looks badass, by the way, until 2022, and it's now been confirmed. Harry Potter! It's now been confirmed that Gotham Knights will be joining it. I mean, if you ever want to be Voldemort, all you need to do is, shout for a good few minutes and strain your voice, and then that's it. You've got it nailed. The delay.
Go Shelby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Harry Kane. Hey, lads. He's the first footballer called Harry. I mean, there's a few out there now, but yeah. Anyway, moving on. The delay was announced via the game's official Twitter account with an incredibly brief and simple statement that simply says the Gotham Knights needs more time. Quote, we are giving the game more time to deliver the best possible experience for players. Thank you to our amazing fans for your tremendous support of Gotham Knights. We look forward to showcasing more of the game in the coming months. The news is hardly surprising considering the coronavirus pandemic is continuing to affect game development. Other games like The Lord of the Rings Gollum and Gran Turismo 7 have been pushed back to 2022 as well. Film releases haven't been safe either. Coincidentally enough, the new Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson recently receiving a new release date of March the 4th, 2022. Do you know what? On this note, I actually watched that trailer again last night. There you go. So there has been little news about Gotham Knights since its big reveal back in August, which consisted of an announcement trailer and a brief gameplay demonstration. So in that sense, its delay isn't as much of a surprise. Developed by Warner Bros. Montreal, the same studio behind Batman Arkham Origins, Gotham Knights retains elements of the combat and stealth gameplay from Rocksteady's Arkham series, but is described as an action role-playing game with optional co-op. We don't need to go into too much of the details of the game, but what we can say is that the game in question, Gotham Knights, has been delayed. It's got a year-long delay. Will now not be coming out in 2021, should I say. It will be coming out in 2022. 4th of March, I think it was. Babe, what are your thoughts?
It's a shame, but it's kind of inevitable. I think this is going to... The delays are going to continue. Last year was rife with them. This year will continue to be the same. I was having this conversation with Samantha yesterday. Like a lot of films, for instance, were all filmed and completed, but the thing that's taking the most time is is editing them down. Why do you think that is? Because surely you'd think that the most difficult part of creating a film in a COVID situation would be getting people on set, getting directors on set, getting the actors or actresses on set, getting the grippers or whatever the fuck they're called, like having all of the staff available on set as well as the actors and actresses there would be the most difficult part. But it seems to be that most things are getting delayed in the cutting room. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure it's entirely down to that. I think part of it will be that because the cutting room process is often the longest process. You've got the need for reshoots and so on, because that could be a lot of the issues. If you need to go back and reshoot a scene now that you'd already shot 2 years ago pre-pandemic, that makes it all so much more difficult now. So there's a little bit of that, but I think it's probably more the marketing element around it. So they've got everything in the can, all the footage has been recorded, but it's a case of, do we want to release it now? Like the James Bond scenario should have came out, was it September last year? or even
Mm.
earlier in the year, and they got moved to September, and they got moved again, or whatever it was. And that's because they want Bond to come out in cinemas. They want the theatrical release so that people can go out and pay. It's basically money talks. So they've got all of this footage and they can go. They don't, because they know that if they do that, they're not necessarily going to earn as much back. It still needs to be seen whether Mulan hitting Disney Plus has recouped enough money. I've not seen any case study. If anybody has any case studies on whether these digital releases are actually proving to be profitable, then do let me know. I'm not convinced, because
I don't. The Mulan definitely won't, and that's because they overpriced it, and the marketing behind it was shit.
Yeah.
Like, what did they say? That I mean, if you're looking at it very top level, I absolutely agree with them. If you go to the cinema and there's going to be 2 adults, 2 children, you go to the cinema, you're not getting any change out of about 30 quid. And that includes your tickets, that includes all of your food and drink and stuff like that. I absolutely agree with that.
You go
But
to the cinema and buy
charge,
one drink, you're not getting changed for 30 quid.
how much was it for the home version?
It was
it
like
25 quid?
I think 20 quid, but it could have been 25. And I just have 20 quid because in my head I roughly placed it as. You mentioned that, like, 4 people. That was their, for anyone that missed it, that was the marketing spiel around it. The way they justified charging 20 quid. So you pay for Disney Plus, which is 6-7 quid or whatever a month. On top of that, you then had to spend 20 quid to rent, not own, but rent Mulan.
Yeah.
And their justification for that is if a family of 4 go to the cinema, then call that a 5 per person in that family. Mum, dad, 2 kids, jobs are good, and 20 quid, bosh. That's fine if you live in the 2.4 children family scenario. If you're a single parent that has 1 kid, then that's not really it, because you're a single parent that's bringing up a child on your own, and you're also being paid, you're being taxed from the partner that you no longer live with, and the kid that you never got followed the first one. So it's
it's very odd. Like that. I mean, that didn't sit right for me. Not that I intended to watch the film anyway, because it's definitely not my kind of bag.
I've watched it. It wasn't worth it either. It was an okay film. It wasn't a film that would have, in my mind, if like people watch it and gone, actually, do you know what? That was worth it. Okay, I understand. It definitely didn't give that sort of experience. It was like, oh, all right. Okay.
I think it definitely turned people off before it even came out. So that was it's like the Premier League model where they was trying to charge 15 quid for you to watch a match at home, even though there was no way that you was ever going to pay that, because one, you was probably a season ticket owner, and now you're having to pay more to be able to watch the game in the comfort of your own home. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So those kind of marketing things died at the door. So I feel like people have been trying to work out the marketing scenario around it. And do you know what? I never even thought about it that way when you was mentioning about when I was saying it's things just getting lost on the courtroom floor. It most likely is the fact that they're not being able to get into, cinemas to be able to watch it rather than just sending it at home and then hoping that people would go to the cinemas when it does have a theatrical release. James Bond, I think it probably could have worked, get people to watch it as and when they can, and chances are those people probably would go back to the cinema to watch it anyway if they are the diehards. But for the casuals like me, if I'm watching it at home, I ain't going to go and watch James Bond at the cinema. That's not going to happen.
I love a James Bond film. I'm not a massive James Bond fan in the same way that I've got an Iron Man helmet sat behind me, because, yeah, fair enough. MCU, yes, please. If I had to watch Avengers Assemble, just first one that came to mind, on the digital release, and then it came out in cinemas, I would consider going to the cinemas watching that. James Bond, I've watched most James Bond films when I've been old enough to in the cinemas, and I probably would watch the whatever it's called. I can't remember, something involving die.
Time to die.
Yeah,
something like
that. So I would watch that at the cinema. If I've watched it already, I might not go and watch that at the cinema. So I understand that. I mean, there's all sorts of discussions around whether the Disney mentality was right or wrong, whether they had the right theory in mind, because obviously Mulan's cost them a shitload of money. Do they just sit on that then for 3 years and go, oh well, okay, we'll wait until the world's back to normal and starve you of the content and put it out when it's suitable for us to make the money back? Because they've spent a lot of money on that. But it's the messaging, the whole message around it. The reason it kicked off around it was because the messaging, whilst they probably had the good intention to not rip off their audience, they also had the intention to keep themselves financially secure because it's a £1 billion project or whatever it was. They need to make some of that money back, or preferably that and then some. So they probably came from the right place. But when you're in a pandemic and there's people losing their jobs and there's not a lot of money going around and you're asking people to pay for a brand new subscription service that they've never paid for before on top of their Netflix and their Prime and all of the rest of the stuff, so they're now paying for Disney Plus, and then you want an extra 20 quid. Okay, you've just missed. You've not read the room, and that was the issue with it. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation that we've dropped down. Gotham Knights has been delayed. That's nothing to do with the cutting room floor. That's. I mean, we're talking about films being filmed. A lot of this hasn't been filmed. A lot of the game hasn't been created, is my estimations. We did see it, and there has been long time rumblings of Batman games. You go back to the Scoop a year ago, and me and Bibby were still pretty much every time there was news of a games conference or something coming up, what do we think we could get? Maybe a new Batman game. I don't know. Maybe a new Batman game. Eventually, we got to that point where we got the news of the Batman game, but it was still pretty early. So this being delayed doesn't surprise me because we are in a pandemic. Things do take longer, and this is in that scenario. So yeah, Gotham Knights is a game that follows in the footsteps of a very successful Arkham series. So it doesn't surprise me that they take extra time to make it absolutely pop. If this came out and was a bit mediocre, you'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, okay, we've just started to get the DC films starting to take themselves seriously and not provide shit. I mean, have you seen the Snyder Cut? I haven't, so I don't know if it's good or not. But there's a conversation currently. People either love it or hate it. It seems Marmite at the moment for me. But at least things are happening in the DC cinematic universe or whatever it's called. DCEU, is that what it's called? I don't know. Anyway, so if that starts turning it around and the games came out shit, then that'll just be like, so yeah, take the time, fix it, make it all good, make it all spectacular, and we'll just have this wonderful game coming out in 2022, and we can all sit and watch Bibby absolutely melt everyone on stream. Nice.
Hey, yeah.
No Time to Die. You're welcome. There he is. Thank you very much,
one.
Eternally. Yeah, that's the one. I was thinking like Die Another Day. No, that's a different one. Also a terrible film, by the way. Today is a good day to die. I know that's a Klingon saying. That's Star Trek. No, not that one. I don't know. I can't remember the last film I purchased on Rakuten as it's on my LG TV. Actually, scrap that. We went as a family to see Sonic, and when it came out, I bought it on Rakuten along with Jumanji 2 as my kids loved them. Both great films. Also went to see both of those films as a familiar as well. Would highly recommend both of those. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, not as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Still a good film though.
This is like so far left field, but did you see that there's going to be an Ace Ventura 3 coming out with the writers from the Sonic films?
I did not. Featuring Jim Carrey? Because if not, then don't bother.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Well, I mean, this is weird though, because 3 or 4 years ago, you'd have thought Jim Carrey wouldn't be making films like that again. You feel like his time is up. But after seeing Sonic and seeing how good he was in that again, you think he's still got the magic. He's still got the magic, baby. It just needs the right writers around him, and I feel like that probably could pull it off.
See, I didn't realize until like recently that a lot. I mean, I had loved Jim Carrey from growing up. Like, I was in junior school / high school, so I don't know what you call that, primary / secondary in some parts of the country or whatever. So I went to junior school and then high school. Year 7 was where we started high school. Anyway, I think like year 5, 6, 7 is that sort of golden window where we had The Mask and we had Ace Ventura and we had Dumb and Dumber and all. Yeah, exactly, proper old. So, like, Jim Carrey nailed it in that sort of scenario. So, for me, Jim Carrey is amazing. There's a lot of people that I've seen over the last year or so that I didn't realize people disliked Jim Carrey. He was almost like Jack Black can be quite separating. Like, some people love Jack Black, some people hate Jack Black. Jim Carrey's that kind of person. I thought he was just universally liked, but yeah, him coming back and doing it, no one else can do that. So much so that I actually saw something on social media the other day. I can't remember what film it was. Liar Liar, also a spectacular film, by the way. Same time frame.
Truman Show. No, everyone forgets about Truman Show, and that film is amazing.
Didn't sit with me because he was a bit more serious and he was less the rest of the stuff. He's less the bit that I was just about to say. So the thing I saw the other day on social media was you can tell how good Jim Carrey is when the script reads something like usually you'll get like Jim Carrey says, "Hey, you stop! Don't do that." And then it'll have like a stage direction thing, like Jim Carrey turns around and looks off into the distance, puts hand over on chin with a furrowed brow, or something like that. But this stage direction stuff that came up was like Jim Carrey proceeds to do Jim Carrey things, which how good is that? just fucking his whole mannerism stuff. Yeah, that's wonderful. Sep. I love you, man. Thank you very much for the host. Welcome in. It's a bit early for you. It's a bit early for you. If anyone doesn't know, I'm sure you all do at this point. Peppiatt Live, who's just dropped as a host. One of the most entertaining, consistent, and top draw Pez content creators that you will ever see in your life. Feel free to go give him some love. Shout out to Pez Story Mode as well, who's in early on. If you want to pick up your content on YouTube, then give Pez Story Mode a shout in. If you want to see a bit more of that on Twitch, then maybe drop and follow as well, because a little bird, i.e. Pez Story Mode, tells me that Pez Story Mode might be doing more content on Twitch. I don't know. We'll see. Go check him out. Anyway, Class Films, The Grinch. Yeah, we do. The Grinch is a good film. A Christmas Carol, the animated one. I can't remember the Christmas Carol. A Grinch, definitely, for sure. Anyway, final story of the day. Gotham Knights has been hit with a year-long delay. Why not talk about Jim Carrey instead? Nice, there you go. Who also does have a link into DC Universe. He was the Riddler. Another thing that I was talking about just yesterday. Wow, all the things. But now, final story of the day. Anyone interested in Battlefield 6? Anyone? Yes, please.
Yes.
Dalzy, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome into the stream. Good morning. You've joined us just in time for the last story of the day, which is written by Don Peppiatt at VG247. It says, it looks like Battlefield 6 might get revealed in May. It's been suggested by an industry insider that Battlefield 6 might be in line for an official reveal from publisher Electronic Arts sometime in May. Excuse me, just needed to burp. It's fine. And again, we've recently heard that EA moved Criterion off of its as yet untitled Need for Speed game in order to help EA Dice with Battlefield 6, and now it seems we are due for an update on the anticipated FPS, and quite soon too. As per a live stream with GameBeat's Jeff Grubb, a trusted sleuth and reliable source for information about publishers' plans, Electronic Arts is targeting a May reveal ahead of some E3 adjacent plans later in the year. When asked by a curious viewer on a live stream when the next Battlefield game would be unveiled, Grubb replied shortly with May. Oh, okay, nice. No doubts about that. When will it be revealed? May. Okay, yeah, we get that. Quote, things are still fluid, he continues. They haven't announced anything publicly yet, but my understanding is that they're probably looking at May. Take this as a rumour for now, of course. There's no official word from EA on when we're going to hear anything about the new game, and though Grubb has been accurate in the past, there's no guarantee that this information will be on the money this time. Grubb has recently also made comments about Elden Ring and Starfield, either of which have yet to be proven correct. This comes after comments from EA that development of the game is ahead of schedule, and you'd hope so considering EA Los Angeles has also been drafted to help with the project. Would you like to play some Battlefield 6, Pip?
Yes, I would. I've been waiting. It feels like an absolute eternity for a Battlefield game, and this could be. I mean, I'm more. Forget about the multiplayer stuff. Obviously, multiplayer on Battlefield, it speaks for itself, but I want to feel it. I want to feel a story, man. I want to feel it. I need to get into a Battlefield campaign again. But I mean, we could talk about the multiplayer stuff, but again, I do think it speaks for itself. It's phenomenal. If it's a completely different scenario to a Call of Duty one, you're talking like a 40-minute match on Battlefield rather than a corridor shooter that'll last 10 minutes. On Call of Duty, it's a completely different game. So
it's the team element for me. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Carry on.
No. I was just about to go on to what you was going to say there. So you crack on.
It's the team bit. So Call of Duty is run and gun, and it's incredible when you want some fast paced action. When you want to feel like Captain America when he gets. Actually, I won't give any spoilers in case. When Captain America's having a hero moment in a film and he's just jumping through a battlefield, taking 4, 5, 6 people out, that's Call of Duty. Pow, 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 pow. In reality, war games aren't going to be like that because you run down the middle of the field and you get shot by 6 different people, game over. And that's Battlefield. Battlefield's like, okay, we see what you're trying to do. No. I mean, occasionally you'll get those moments, but generally you have to treat it a bit more seriously. You have to work with the people around you. You have to spot enemies. You have to work with tactics and strategy. That's what I like from games like PUBG. PUBG's kind of losing its grip on me at the moment. So give me some of this. Yes, please. I will take this. I will take this. I want big maps. That's what this has. I want boots on the ground. That's what this will probably have. I want real gun mechanics. Maybe they're probably not going to have the same sort of gunplay as PUBG, but it's still more gunplay than you get on a Call of Duty. So this could be coming at the perfect time for me. May for announcement. I would then imagine, as it says there, more E3 targeted, E3 adjacent content. So that's, if it comes in May, more content in June to release in August, September, October. Probably. That's probably what we like. That's good. That's good. We'll have another Battlefield. Yes, please.
Yeah.
We'll take that. We'll take that. That Bond title sounds like a crossover with Die Hard films, almost like next one will be James Bond in No Time to Die Hard 4.0 with a vengeance. Exactly. Battlefield 6, let's go, says Bonsai. Even if it's just a reskin of a previous game. Again, what, this Battlefield? Do you think it's going to be a reskin? I think like they stopped working after the Pacific content. They stopped working on Battlefield. We've spoken about this a few times with content creators kind of having to look elsewhere. West is the example that we come back to, good friend of the channel. He has started making COD content because there's not been enough Battlefield content. That's because they've just basically stopped being outward communicating because they are working hard. So I would be hugely surprised if the next game is a reskin Battlefield. At this point, I would be baffled. I'd like to see, with the amount of different studios as well, so EALA and was it Criterion that have been brought in, I would be surprised if this doesn't absolutely pop, at least to begin with. No doubt, obviously, there will be metas established and there will be bugs and issues and things that become apparent over time. It's an ongoing FPS game. It always happens. But if it doesn't blow your tits off at the beginning, I would be surprised. I hope so. It's my birthday in May, says Bonsai. I know the last one wasn't great, but I still love them and the campaigns. Exactly. No, I agree. I fully agree. But for now, we'll put a pin in things. Thank you, everyone, for joining us to start the week out. We had a whole variety of content. We started out with disaster from the content side of things, not from us, obviously. The PS5's handling of cross-gen saves has been criticised following the ridiculous Avengers transfer process. We then jumped into another Avengers-related story. The Spider-Man content has been delayed until 2021. That's not the only superhero content that's been delayed. No, actually, until beyond 2021. It's into 2022, but that's not the only superhero content that's been delayed until 2022, as Gotham Knights has also been delayed. Back to the PS5, there will be upgrades coming this summer in terms of internal storage. There'll be new firmware updates that will allow you to add SSD expansions to your consoles, which is great, because later on in the year, Battlefield 6 will be coming out potentially, which you will need a lot of space on your SSD for. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your scoop for the Monday. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you being here. We will disappear now and could be back with an additional stream today. We will discuss that off stream. Best way to find out if we are back with any gameplay is to drop a follow on this channel. You will get notified when we go live. If not, we'll be back tomorrow with more content. But before we go away and discuss coming back or not, Bib, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much for joining us today. The first day of the week, because it's Monday, obviously. But we appreciate every single one of you that stopped by, hosted, followed, and subscribed. We very much appreciate it. But if you do want to get involved with the show, there's two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. So that's Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Or get involved with the Discord. The links should be either in the chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description below. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be on What Time Tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day.
Just going to check my watch. Yep, I can confirm that we will be live at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. ish. Let me drop
It was okay today.
You what?
It was okay today. 10:30, I think it was.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. We'll take that. Yeah, so there you go. We'll be live at 10:30ish tomorrow, maybe. We'll see. Tuesday is the busy day, so we'll see. But like I said, the best way to be notified when we go live is to drop a follow on the channel. We've had a word with Twitch. We've made it free for now and forever, because it's always free. That's the joke. I've said it before. I'll probably say it again. It's okay. Anyway, have yourselves a fantastic day. If we see you in a bit for a few extra games of stuff, then we'll love to see you there. If not, we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. ish. Until then, have yourselves a fantastic day. And what are they going to do, babe?
Stay frosty.